let's start in this real quick, because the reason and the motive behind me making this video is because I have watched other conservatives make videos about Turning Point and about Candace Owens. And I just felt it was necessary for me to just give my 2 cents in the whole thing. And I'm just going to say, quite frankly, that I'm disappointed in what I've heard people say about Candace and Turning Point USA. And I'm not going to say people's names because it really don't matter. It's irrelevant, because the people who talking about it may not be the only people who think it. So I'm addressing the whole thing. First, I'm going to start with Candace Owens. The sad thing that I've seen in the conservative sphere, or YouTubers and all this, is that they're saying negative things about Candace Owens, and I don't know of any of them who've actually met Candace Owens. I think it's invaluable that if you have a problem with a person, or you think that a person is a certain way, especially if you initially or at some point we on the same team, that you will address that person woman to woman, man to man, man to woman, whatever the case may be. So I'll just give you a quick backstory on my initial perception of Candace Owens and how I met Candace. So I made a viral video and I left the police department, and Candace reached out to me on Twitter. And the first thing that I noticed was that, I was like, oh, Candace Owens want to work with me. That's pretty cool. But then the social autopsy thing came out, and I was apprehensive. Like, I'm clean. I'm green. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no conflicts. I'm coming straight from the police department. I'm not going to align myself with somebody who ain't legit. And so I took some time to meet her face to face before I make a decision to say I don't want to fool with her, and I'm rocking with her. I had to make that decision for myself. And the honest to God truth is, I met Candace Owens. First time I met her, first of all, I watched her Rubin thing about social autopsy and her explanation of it all, and I thought it was reasonable. And so I met with Candace, and I didn't just meet Candace, me and Candace. I met Candace around a whole bunch of her family members. And so my first initial idea, or my first initial perception of her, was that she was really genuine. Because I tell you this, when you meet somebody around their family members, if you fake, they gonna call you out. You can't hide. You can hide one-on-one. You can't hide in front of your family. And that was one thing that I noticed about Candace that made me feel like, dang, she's legit. She's genuine. This is a genuine person. Like, after what I saw her explanation of this social autopsy, and I listened to what she said, and I got a vibe of who she was as a person, I was like, she's totally a real person. She totally is convicted about what she's saying, and there ain't no doubt about that. And so from that point on, I felt like that I consider Candace Owens to be a reasonable conservative person with convictions that are similar to mine. And this is my problem that I have with people making videos. They sit up here and say, oh, she made a doxing website. I mean, this is my whole thing. From what I gathered from what she said to me and what she said publicly, is that she made something that at the time, as a social justice warrior, being brainwashed as a leftist, that she thought was a good idea. She literally thought it was a good idea. And I felt like that people that she trusted came to her and said, this is not a good idea. This can be used against you. This can be used against the people that you think you're helping. This can be a catastrophe. And people came to her in a logical manner, and she said, you know what, y'all right. I'm going to forfeit this thing. It's no reason for me to continue with something that people are telling me that's not a good idea. But see, people that you trust will tell you the truth. And then the people on the other side will hate on you and bash you and call you all kind of names. And I think that that's when she was referring to the people on the left that caused her to have a red pill moment. She was talking about these people who are bashing her with no concrete information about what she's actually trying to do with this social autopsy. And then the people who love her, the people who care about her, was telling her that this is a bad idea and it's going to ruin your career. And this is not going to accomplish what you think it's going to accomplish. The girl openly said that it was a bad idea and that it never came to fruition because she abandoned the project. For some reason, people want her to apologize for something that she didn't intend to do in a negative way. Based on what I know of her and based on what she said, it don't seem like she even thought of that. She was being emotional when she created that thing and she wasn't thinking. And I make this analogy about how I feel about the situation is that that's like me creating a Power Wheel. And I make a modified Power Wheel that go 3 times as fast as the Power Wheel that you can buy at Walmart. And I'm thinking it's a great idea and it's going to be game changing. The kids are going to have this fun experience and stuff. And somebody come to me and say, B. Tatum, the Power Wheel don't have a seatbelt in it. And if a kid followed at that Power Wheel at that speed, they're going to die. And me being zealous about a cause or being zealous about something, I don't think of that stuff. Why would I apologize and then just say that I let a couple kids test drive it when I was in the development process? Why in the world would I apologize for potentially killing kids and hurting them when that wasn't my intent in the first place? My intent was just make a fun machine. Then people come to tell me that it could be volatile and kill people. Then I say, you know what? I totally have to rethink this. I'm not going to finish the project of creating a Power Wheel with all of that power without having a seatbelt in it. And I think it's the same thing. Why in the world would I go back and apologize for something I didn't have no intent to harm people in? And when somebody brought it to my attention that this could be very volatile and harmful, that I say I'm not going to develop a Power Wheel that way and I'm going to abandon the project. I don't understand how it's so problematic what Candace Owens did. And then another thing that people are saying, Candace Owens wrote some text messages about Donald Trump, that she was anti-Donald Trump. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be emotional. So I could care less. Go look at my Facebook page. I don't know how long ago. Go look at my Facebook page back when Obama's second term. I argue that Obama was the best president. Obama will go down in history as the best president of the United States. I used to defend Obama's policies tooth and nail ignorantly. And what are you going to say? That I'm somehow a traitor? No, I was brainwashed, man. I was a foolish person. I thought that Barack Obama was a legitimate guy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care. Like, then they say that she had some website or something where somebody wrote an article on. Somebody said that she's not a genuine conservative. And this is what killed me. And I'm not going to say people's names because I don't care about who they are. I care about what they were saying. That somebody made a video talking about this girl one of the points that was made in one of these videos is that Candace Owens ain't really about the cause because her lineage isn't from Africa. Like when your argument is based in stuff like that, it's kind of hard to trust you. I don't care if you cared about if a person couldn't identify issues in the black community, a person couldn't identify things concerning the black community factually because they're not from the black community. And if that couldn't be effective, then half of us in America couldn't do nothing for the black community. Everybody that's mixed race can't do nothing for the black community. And I'm gonna tell you how diverse communities are. If you grew up in Watts, LA, you grew up in Watts, California versus growing up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, those are 2 different areas. So if you grew up in Watts, it's reasonable to say you don't know what it's like to live in Baton Rouge. So therefore you can't talk to people in Baton Rouge. That's just asinine to me. And I feel like that my whole concept is that I don't care what woulda, coulda, shoulda, what somebody said or didn't say. Is what Candace Owens saying right now truth? Is what she's saying factual? If she was on TV and what she was saying wasn't factually based, I would have a problem. But what she's saying is identifying with facts and identifying with things that I know to be true as somebody who grew up in and around the hood my whole life. So those are the concepts that I feel are necessary for evaluation of somebody's character. When you have people on a live stream, on a video saying that Candace Owens lovers are only white people, I can't understand how that is a legitimate critique of somebody and that's not a personal attack. How do you know who this girl lovers are? And then I see other conservatives having this same ideology and saying that she's a fraud. These people are making hypotheticals about a hypothetical situation. First of all, they're basing stuff on unverified stuff or stuff that they didn't put together and mixed up and created an image about somebody they never met. And then they're projecting that image regarding somebody they never met into the future of this person. How you gonna get mad at Candace Owens if Fox News call her on the phone and say, can you do an interview about what you just said? She's supposed to turn it down? You know, people are making videos saying she's opportunistic. She's supposed to turn it down? You know, if Kanye West was to say that they support you, are you supposed to turn it down? You're supposed to say, oh, I'm gonna act like that never happened. You need to use that to your advantage to create or to do things to better your cause. I don't think nobody that I know is saying that Kanye West is a conservative, that Kanye West is on the conservative team. I don't think that nobody's saying it about Kanye. I think Kanye West is still trying to figure out who he is and trying to figure out what his political grounds are. Kanye West never said he was a conservative. Kanye West never said he agreed with President Donald Trump. He said he liked him because he liked who he is. He knew Donald Trump before. He's the only rapper that's going to be real about it and say that he loved Donald Trump before he was the president. Y'all putting that stuff in Kanye West's mouth. Nobody's saying that Kanye West is somehow the voice of conservatives. Kanye West is opening up the dialogue for freedom of thought. So that's why people like Candace Owens and Turning Point USA is actually giving attention to this, because it's freedom of thought. It's freeing people that they don't have to be a slave to their thoughts. It's not saying that some rapper is somehow a conservative voice. Nobody's really saying that. And yeah, you can play things on words and create an environment where it's continuously trending and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. The people that ain't never making it nowhere in life and it don't have a message that resonate with nobody is the people that's sitting around trying to be modest and saying, well, I don't want to be identifying with you. Do what you want to do. Other people gonna make it happen. So my whole take on Candace Owens is that based on my personal experience with Candace Owens, I met Candace Owens several times. I've had phone conversations with Candace Owens. We text regularly. We work together now. And I honestly believe she's genuine. If she wasn't genuine, I wouldn't fool with her. She's honestly a genuine person. Some of y'all people who are talking about her don't know the conversations that I've had with her on the phone after she met with Kanye West. Don't know the conversations I had on the phone about other things that she's been doing and her concerns and fears, and also her being inspired by certain things. If you ain't never talked to the woman, you don't know how she really feel. You going off of what somebody else says she feel like. I'm telling you from not something I read in the book. I'm telling you something that I know. You know, I honestly believe Candace Owens is genuine. If somehow in the future she flip out and become somebody that I don't know, then it is what it is, and I'm gonna call a spade a spade. But right now, she's genuine. The girl is on fire. It's not a coincidence that people from all walks of life are now talking about what she's saying, because nobody cares about this stuff that the people trying to bring up in the past. All I want to know is what is true right now. What is she saying right now, and is it true or is it phony? You can grow up in a black community and be lying out both sides of your mouth. That don't make you any more better. That don't make you better because you grew up in a certain community. Anyway, I've said enough of that. I support Candace Owens, and I think that she's a legitimate person. You can say what you want about some hypotheticals about her past and projecting that into her future. That's on you. I could care less.